Today we're going to talk about my September reading wrap-up. Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. I did read 11 books, technically 9 books and 2 novellas, but I'm still counting it. Okay, my glasses are giving off a glare, so I'm going to have to take them off. So I didn't think I would actually read this month because at the beginning of the month I was actually super slow with reading. Like, I was in the middle of 2 different books at the beginning of the month and I did not finish them until halfway through. And so I actually was not expecting to get this much in, but here we are. A lot of these are for vlogs, so I will tell you what the vlogs are and if they're up or not, whether that be YouTube or TikTok. So, okay, first thing that we finished was What the Hex by Jessica Clare. I ended up giving this a 3.5. This is the second book in a interconnected standalone like duology type of thing. I don't know why I picked this one up first instead of the other one, but here we are. This is about Penny and Willem, and basically Penny has been in like the Witches Society her whole life and she's been waiting to get chosen to be someone's familiar, and then finally she gets approached by her friends and they're like, Willem wants a familiar, and the reason why he can't go through like the society to get a familiar is because he's actually banned for the next 5 or 10 years, something like that, from getting a familiar. So he has to do it on the down low. So he hires her and then they have to like fake date because she had to move into the house and whatever, and they don't want to make it like suspicious that she might be the familiar, because then they would both get in trouble. But throughout the book they're also trying to figure out who's kind of like putting curses on Willem and people around Willem. So it was kind of like interesting. The only reason I gave it a 3.5, I was kind of weirded out by the fact that the familiars were actual people. Because usually if you're watching a show or like a book about witches and stuff like that, a familiar is an animal, like a cat or an owl or a lizard. I don't fucking know. Not a person. So it's kind of weird. I wasn't expecting that. This also says enemies to lovers on the back, and it's not really enemies to lovers. Like, he dislikes her at the beginning because she's too cheery and blah 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 blah. But like, it wasn't enemies. They did not know each other before this. Okay, so it can't be enemies. I did not like how the familiar thing, and also throughout the whole book, she was every time he would cast a spell and use her magic, she would have a big reaction. How do I put this? She would get pleasure, if you know what I mean, every time. And she thought that was normal, but it indeed was not. So the whole time, every time he would cast a spell, she would, get this reaction, and I would just be like, I would get icked out. I was listening to it on audio format, so I was just like, what? Anyway, so 3.5. I actually read on my Kindle a novella called Love and Other Killers by Brynne Weaver. I think I rated this a 3 stars. I'm not 100% sure, so once I know for sure, I'll put it on the screen. This is like a quick novella. I think it was like 60 pages or something like that. It only took me like an hour and a half, something like that. I was also in a vehicle, so I was like kind of car sick. I can't really give you an accurate time because like I was not feeling it. I did enjoy it. This is about basically every single person in the Ruinous Love trilogy. Every single person in that is in this novella, and it's basically about them playing the annual game that you see in Butcher and Blackbird. Basically, in Butcher and Blackbird, Rowan and Sloane end up getting together because they end up having this fun little game where They hunt basically a serial killer or like a bad person, and they make it a game by trying to figure out who the bad person is, and then once they do, like trying to find them. Anyways, so this novella is basically that game, but you have all the brothers teamed up together, and then you have all the girls teamed up together, and then yeah. I just wish there was like a little bit more. Just because obviously it was only like 6 chapters, so I felt like it was a little rushed, but I still loved it. Yeah, I just wish like we were only in Sloane's point of view, so I wished we were like also in Rowan's. A lot of the reviews were like, oh my god, I miss Sloane and Rowan, which I do agree. So why not put Rowan and Sloane's point of views, not just Sloane? I don't really know what I was looking for. I didn't even know this was a thing until I went for this drive, and I was like, oh, click. I read Fearful by Lauren Roberts. My friend and I started reading this together. My final rating for this is a 3.5, just because I wasn't really expecting them to talk about Lenny and Blair so much. I kind of wished we had more with Mara and Kit, just because like I kind of liked their dynamic together, and I wished they had more together, you know what I mean? I was also expecting Kit and Mara to end up together in the end, like romantically, and they don't, because of something that happens in here. Basically, this is in Kit and Mara's, oh my god. Kit and Mara's point of view, and basically Mara is literal death, like she's like the Reaper and stuff like that. You basically follow along with her. She's talking to Kit about him dying and blah blah blah. Kit's learning how to die and Mara's learning how to live, because she just doesn't care anymore about living and whatever. She's just like, I don't fucking care. Anyways, but then you also see in Mara's point of view that she is intrigued by Lenny and Blair because they're so opposite. They're destined to fail, is what she says, and so she's just following along to watch the fallout happen. I don't know. I feel like there was still so many questions that I wished were answered and that weren't. I don't know, but whatever. So yeah, 3.5. I still really loved it. Obviously, I loved being in the world again, and I love seeing Kai. Ugh, I love Kai. I miss that world. So this book and then the 2 novellas I do have like in a little TikTok vlog. I don't say much in the, like I don't say anything in the TikTok vlog. It's just me doing a road trip. But yeah, it's there. Next, I read A Court of Silver Flames. Now this is definitely the biggest book this month. I'm happy I finally got it done. I've been avoiding it for a very long time, but I finally read it, so now I can start throwing a glass. I'm scared. My final rating is a 4.5, just because it didn't give me the 5-star feelings like the rest of the series did. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's because it was in Nesta's point of view, not Farrah's, but whatever. Anyways, this is about Nesta and Cassian's story. Basically, after the war, Nesta started drinking and sleeping with whoever she can to like cope and whatever. And then a year later, finally, everyone's like, we're gonna put a stop to this. Like, this is not okay. Nesta's obviously freaking out, being like, you don't care about me, blah, 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 blah. But it's actually because they care about her that they're doing this. So basically, Farrah has banished her to the House of Wind. Not really banished her, but she now lives at the House of Wind with Cassian and Azriel sometimes. And basically, in the morning, she has to train with Cassian. And then at night, she has to work in the library under the house. Yeah, it's kind of cool to, like, see her, like, training and all that stuff. And then, like, she's also building relationships with other people. A little bit after she's doing her training, she actually invites the people that work in the library to train as well, because they're women that have a past and whatever. That's why they're working down there, because they're just kind of like trying to cope with their trauma and kind of like be isolated from everybody because of the trauma. Anyway, so she invites them, and eventually some of them do come. So it's I like seeing that aspect. And then like she's obviously building relationships with two of the other girls. They're besties and whatever. And also throughout the book, they're also trying to find these pieces of a trove, so then they can stop Bria Lynn, which is one of the human queens that turned fae, but in a bad way. And so she's trying to like take revenge and whatever. So now they're trying to stop her as well. I also read this in a TikTok vlogs, multiple vlogs. Basically, this book was chosen for my series that I have on there that's called TBR Takedown. I read Rewind It Back by Liz Tom Ford. Do I even have to say my final rating? It was a 5-star. I absolutely loved this. I'm so sad that the series is over though, because what the like, this was the last book in the Windy City series. There's 5 books total. And I already miss this world so much. I can't wait to do a reread. I already said that I was going to do a reread eventually, so I'm very excited because I want to annotate them. Yeah, 5 stars. This is about Rio, DeLuca, and Hallie. Now, you've never met Hallie in any of the other books. So the first time you meet her is in this book. This is a second chance romance. Basically, they had a thing when they were literally 12 years old, from 12 to 19 or something like that. And something happened to cause them to have a really big fight and obviously break up. And then they were in no contact for 6 years. And then now she's in Chicago, where he lives now. He sees her one night. Oh yeah, he finds out that they're neighbors. He actually hired her to renovate his house, and so now he's like, no, this is not happening. And so she tries to convince him to actually let her renovate the house, because she needs to, in order to get a spot on the design firm that she works for, or that she's interning at. It's also past and present timeline as well, which I personally love. I know a lot of people don't love that, but I personally eat it up every single time it's a past and present. I don't know, maybe it's because the very first book that I've read to start my reading journey as an adult was Love and Other Words, and that's past and present as well, and I loved it. Okay, but anyways, I will eat it up every single time. I love the found family in this. Like, oh my god, they're so cute. Like, every Sunday they have family dinners, and it's like, oh, but they're not a family, obviously. They're like friends, but it's a found family, so I love it. And then everyone has kids, and you like. This is gonna be in a vlog later in the month where I'm reading my most anticipated reads of the year so far. Still don't know what the title's gonna be, because that's a long title, but that's gonna be in that vlog. This was just the first book that I read in that vlog, so I'm not done it. I read Go Hex Yourself by Jessica Clare. This is the first one in the interconnected standalone duology. It's gonna be a 3.5 again. I don't know, it's given the same vibes as the first one, and not that I don't like that, it's just a 3-star energy. I don't know how to tell it. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you guys. I don't know. Like, I enjoyed it. I will recommend it sometimes to people if they want like a vibe like this, but I probably won't think about it much. Like, you guys catching my drift? Like, I probably won't be thinking about it every single day of my life. That's why it's not like a 4-star. This is about Reggie and Ben. Reggie goes for a job interview because she's thinking she's gonna get hired by this company that makes this card game that she really likes. but it's really a witch who needs a familiar. Okay? And so she goes and she's like, this is weird, like everyone's crazy, and so she doesn't believe that they're witches, and she's like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna help you, because it's obviously, like, it's a grandma. Well, I mean, it's Ben's aunt, but she's obviously, like, how old is she? Like 2,000 years old or something like that. So she's old, okay? So then she's like, okay, definitely, this grandma's definitely gone senile. I'll help her anyways, whatever. And then, like, one night something happens, and so she believes in magic now, and whatever, and then Ben and her, like, grow closer. Oh, I think they grow closer because, the aunt literally called, Reggie being like, oh yeah, like, every one of my familiars has gotten cursed. I'm going to bingo now, okay, bye. And so she goes to Ben, and she's like, every single familiar has gone cursed, like, why haven't you told me this? And he's like, oh, that's news to me. And so they're trying to solve the mystery of who's been cursing every single one of the aunt's familiars, and then something happens to the aunt, so they're trying to figure out that as well. So there is, like, a mystery aspect to both of them. Not really. It's more of like, who done it? But yeah. Again, I don't like that the familiar is an actual person. Okay? At least this one was not having big reactions every time they cast it. I read The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. You'll see that I actually was reading from my fall TBR a lot this month because I had a lot of books on my fall TBR. If you watch my fall TBR video, you'll know that I had a lot of books. So I was really trying to get that down last month, and I'm really gonna focus on it again this month, like more specifically like the witchy type of stuff. Anyways, that's not what this video is about. The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I rated this a 5 stars. I don't know what it is about Ashley Poston's writing, but it is so beautifully done and so, like, enchanting. Like, I don't know what, like, how to describe this, but it's, like, so, like magical that you're just, like, you're in the story. Like, you feel like you're in there, and it just, like, fully immerses you into the story. Like, I don't know. I don't know. At the beginning, I will say, like, it was closer to a 4.5 for me at the beginning of the book. But throughout the book, I was like, yeah, no, this is a 5-star. I had that 5-star feeling. I didn't enjoy it. I did not enjoy it as much. There's an ad happening on the TV. Not that you can really see the TV, but I had, like, a fucking cute ambiance thing. Oh, well, okay. What was I saying? I did not enjoy it as much as The 7-Year Slip, which is the only other book that I read by Ashley Poston, but I did love it a lot. So this is about Florence. She's a ghostwriter for, like, a famous author, and she meets the new editor and is begging for an extension on the book, obviously, because a year ago she had a really hard breakup, and so she doesn't believe in love anymore, so she's been having a hard time writing about love, obviously. So she's like, give me another extension, and he's like, no. And then so she's like, well, what about if it's not about romance? And then he's like, no. Anyways, he's like, you have until tomorrow. So now she's panicking, whatever. And then she then gets a phone call from her mom, and her dad passed away. So now she has to go back to her hometown and help with the funeral and all that stuff. And literally she shows up, and there's a knock at the door. She answers the door, and it's her editor, but as a ghost. So now she's, like, helping him, you know, get to the afterlife, because her whole life she was able to see ghosts and talk to them and whatever and help them with their unfinished business so then they can move on. So that's basically what she's doing. And like, you have to read it. I don't know. I will say though, at the beginning, why I wanted to rate it a 4.5 instead of a 5 is because I was actually really annoyed with her friend at the beginning. Her friend obviously redeemed herself, but at the beginning I was like, you're kind of pissing me off, because she's like, Florence is freaking out about, you know, how she only has a day to finish the book and blah 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 blah, and her best friend's like, let's go party, and she's like, no, like I have to do this, and then she's like, all the more reason why you should come party. And it's like, what? If my best friend was trying to make me go party when I had things to do, I think I would be so pissed off. I think I would be like, go fuck yourself. I'm also very, I don't let people boss me. Like, I don't let people tell me what to do either. Like, I've never been that way. And so, like, if anybody's like, no, you're gonna come party, I'll be like, actually, like, no, the fuck I'm not. You're fucking crazy. Anyways, 5 stars. I actually did a lot of listening. I listened to both of the Jessica Clare books, and then this one, The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. I actually was pleasantly surprised about this one. I don't know why. I've been putting it off a lot. My boyfriend actually bought me this last fall, and I've just been putting it off. I don't know why, but I actually really did enjoy this. I think my final rating was like a 4-star. This is about Clara, and basically she's an Everwitch. In this story, every single witch belongs to a specific season. So there's autumn witches, spring witches, summer witches, and winter witches. She's an Everwitch, which means she doesn't belong to a single season. She belongs to every single season, so she can use her powers fully every single season without getting burnt out. But the thing is that she refuses to use her powers because every single time she uses her powers, someone that she cares about gets hurt. In the past, her best friend died because of her powers, and so she's like just put a stop to it. Anyways, this whole book is basically her training her powers so that nobody gets hurt and blah blah blah. She ends up falling in love with her trainer. There is a 3rd act breakup. Yeah, I did enjoy it. Again, I listened to it, so it didn't take me too long. I listened to this one as well. This Spells Love by Kate Robb. This one I gave a 4.5. Again, I was very much pleasantly surprised with this one. It kind of gave me the same vibes as an Ashley Poston books in terms of like magicalness. I was expecting them to actually be witches, but they're not. They're not witches. This is about Gemma, and basically she got dumped. Yeah, she got dumped by, or I don't know if she got dumped, but her and her ex broke up. And she's so heartbroken about it for some weird reason. Anyways, she's so heartbroken about it. So she gets drunk with her sister and her aunt, and then her best friend Dax shows up and starts drinking with them and whatever. They have this bright idea to perform a spell so she can forget about her ex. So they do all that. The next day, she wakes up and she's not in her bed. She's like, where am I? And her whole life is changed because obviously she forgot about her ex, right? So a lot of things have changed. So she doesn't live at the same place. She doesn't have the same job. Her best friend Dax is actually not her best friend no more because they met on the same night as like her meeting her ex. Anyways, a lot of things has changed. And so now she's trying to get her life back on track because she's like, well, she's trying to get back to her old life because she's like, I want Dax and whatever, like I want him as a best friend, but she actually has feelings for him, has always had feelings for him. Anyways, so then in this world, she's trying to convince Dax to kiss her because that's how you have to reverse a spell by doing the same thing that you did to like cause the spell, and they kissed to seal the spell the first time. So now she's trying to do that again, but they end up falling in love, and then she's like, I don't know if I want to go back and blah blah blah. But yeah. It was actually so cute. I loved it. I literally could not stop listening to it. I was just like, I need to. These 4 books were in a 24-hour reading challenge. I don't have it up yet, but I will eventually, obviously, so stay tuned for that. That's why I got so much done too, because I was, well, listening to a lot of the books that I have in this stack, but I was also doing a 24-hour reading challenge. See, guys, I have a fall ambiance. You guys just can't see it. I listened to this one as well, which is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. My final rating for this is a 4-star. I didn't love it as much as Yours Truly and Just for the Summer, which are the only 2 other books that I've read by her. I obviously will read the rest of her books. But yeah, it's only a 4-star because I didn't really relate to the characters. I talk about this in the vlog that this is in as well. This is going to be in the same vlog as Rewind It Back, where I read my anticipated reads of the year. But yeah, I did not relate to the characters as much as I related to, you know, the characters in the other 2 books, which is fine, like it doesn't matter. But also, I did not like how at the beginning there was multiple conversations about how this man looks, and every single conversation it was different women that didn't even know each other. Okay, they all said that he looked like Rhysand from ACOTAR. It happened multiple times, which is like, Kayla, get over it. Like, what this is about Samantha and Xavier, and basically Xavier is a vet and Samantha goes into his vet clinic randomly because she found a cat on the side of the road or something. She's like, help me with this cat. Anyways, he's like, my best advice is to put it down because the cat didn't have a butthole. He's like, well, you're gonna have to either do surgery on it or put her down because then she's gonna just suffer. Plain and simple. And she was like, I'm not putting it down. And he's just like, well, then you're just gonna make her suffer. She then has a GoFundMe and whatever, raises enough money for the cat. Fast forward, got the surgery, blah blah blah. Then she goes back to the clinic to get like a note saying that like okay to travel and whatever. He randomly goes, go on a date with me, and she's like, yes. That's also why I didn't rate it a 5-star too, because it was kind of like a little rushed to me, because like literally they just met and they actually hated each other, and then he's just like, go on a date with me. She's like, yeah. And she's like, well, yeah, we have to go on a date tonight because like I leave tomorrow to go help my mom, because her mom has dementia, so she has to move back to her hometown and take care of the mother. They go on a date. It's cute. I really enjoyed those scenes of like the date. Then he figures out that she's actually moving and not just going on a vacation, and so they do long distance for a little bit. There's no 3rd act breakup, which I appreciate. Every single time I do a reading wrap up, like at the beginning I'm like talking a lot about it and blah blah blah, and then towards the end I'm just like, I'm over it. Anyways, last but not least, thank God, I read Bewitched by Laura Thalassa. I actually finished this last night, and today is the last day of September, so I just got it in. Anyways, my final rating is a 4.5 for this as well. I was gonna rate it a 5-star, but then I'm just like, it's the first in the series, so I don't know. I loved it. Look at this edition too. This is not in a vlog whatsoever, so this is, I think, the only book that no one knows that I read. Yeah, 4.5. This is about Selene. She really wants to be in this coven so freaking bad. She's a witch, okay? She really wants to be in this coven so freaking bad. They keep declining her request because every single time that she casts a spell, she loses a little bit of her memory. So they're just like, we do not want to be responsible for you to lose basically all your memories. They eventually get tired that she's very persistent, so they're like, okay, you can be in this coven if you do two things. You need to find a familiar, which is something that's pretty much impossible. Like, a lot of people, like, a lot of witches don't get their familiars until later in life. Anyways, so she's like, how am I gonna do this? And then she also has to do a magical quest. So, one night she's drinking, she books a plane ticket. I don't know why. Then she leaves, obviously, to go on this plane. Not while she's drunk, but she leaves to go on this trip, and there's a magical force that tries to bring the plane down. So she's using her magic to land the plane safely. The plane still crashes, but everybody lives. Then she still gets drawn to, like, something. Because, like, the same magical force that was trying to take the plane down was, like, in her head, being like, my queen, I knew you'd come for me. I love you, like, my empress, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what the fuck is happening? Anyways, that same, like, magical force is, like, drawing her closer, like, drawing her into the woods and whatever. She ends up finding her familiar in the woods, which is a panther, and she's like, whoa, a panther? Anyways, she thinks that the familiar is what was drawing her, but it was actually something else, and she, like, goes deeper into the woods and whatever. She finds this tomb. She goes into the tomb, and literally all over the walls it says, like, Memnon the Cursed, don't, warnings, basically. And she opens the coffin, and there's a man there. She's like, what the hell? Who is this person? She decides to wake him up. Anyways, his name is literally Memnon the Cursed. Anyways, she wakes him up, and he's super convinced that she is his long lost wife. Okay? He's like, oh my god, my beloved, my queen, I knew you would come, my wife. And she's just like, who the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's not me. That's not me. Anyways, and she's trying to tell him this too, and he's just like, no, you are my queen, you are my wife. And she's like, I don't know who this person is. Like, I don't know who you are. Anyways, and he's just like, I will destroy your life. Because apparently his wife cursed him to be asleep for 2,000 years. Okay? So now he's set on destroying her life because of that. And so she's like, what? And he traps her in the tomb, and then she finally, like, escapes it and blah blah blah, goes back home and she gets accepted to the coven. But then things start happening where witches end up dead. Memnon comes back, and he's just like, I will destroy you, whatever, blah blah blah. She ends up finally convincing him that she has no idea what he's talking about and whatever. And then he ends up convincing her that she's actually the long lost wife. I actually really enjoyed it. I can't wait. I need to pick up the next book, like, ASAP, because what do you mean? Like, it ends on a cliffhanger, and I just need it. Guys, I'm not really enjoying my coffee because I bought this new coffee creamer, and my boyfriend is like, you're definitely gonna like that. I don't really like it that much. It's called Caramel Apple Pie. Ugh. The hardest part is picking up all the books. Holy Jesus. Anyways, I just got, like, killed. Okay. These are all the books that I read in the month of September. There was a lot more than I anticipated, but yeah. Let me know if you read any of these books, and what you guys thought of them. I always enjoy hearing about your opinions about these books. Even if they're not the same opinions as me, please let me know. Also, if you have any of these books on your TBR this fall, let me know. I hope I can keep that going for the rest of the year, like, reading this many books. I'm actually surprised I've been reading so much, especially since I've been filming and editing, and I've also been posting on TikTok every day. Like, how am I reading so much? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.